For week 7 homework, first question about index. At the top, just copy what it is, and for the denominator you multiply the 3 into the both terms, we get such. And then since we do big minus small, the 9 is bigger, so 9 minus -2, then the 7 minus 3. So 7 minus 3 is a 4, and then 9 minus -2 is 11, and that's 3 marks. And for the second question, first always double check if there's anything that you can take out from all the terms. In this case there's a y, because there's a y in the 9x squared y, 18xy, and then 5y. So there's a y you can take out first, and then you have left with is a sort of quadratic equation. So in that you need to do the cross method, or you can pick up a calculator and you can get the answer is 3x plus 5 and 3x plus 1. And in part B, since you are doing the first part, that is the same as the part A, so copy the answer first, and then you can see from the back part, from this you can take out a 2, so that is 3x plus 1 as well. And after that, because 3x plus 1 is the common term, that is need to be taken out. So what we have is this, but remember we cannot have a bracket inside a bracket in the last answer, so the y would be put back out to the 3x and the 5y before we say that's the final answer. So that's the final answer. Okay, so number 3, we have a denominator 5 and a denominator 4, so multiply those, the 5 and the 4, on both sides. Okay, 5 and the 4. Now why we do that? Because then we can get rid of the denominators. So 4y, and then the 5 needs to multiply by both terms, so 15x minus 25, and since x is the subject, so 15x stays here, 4y plus 25, so the final answer is 4y plus 25 divided by 15, and that's 3 marks as well, apart from the 1 mark for the answer, 1 mark for the step, and 1 mark for the final answer. So 3 marks there. Number 4, we know that Patsy's wage is 5%, so Patsy wage is 5% lower than Queenie, while the daily wage of Queenie is 5% higher than Ray. So that's what we know, and we know Queenie's wage is $3.99, and we asked to find Ray's wage, so that means we will be using the second equation for part A. So Queenie's wage $3.99, it's going to be equal to Ray's wage of 1 plus 5%, and therefore we can get the answer if we divide the 399 by 1.05, and which is 380. So Ray's wage is 380. And B, they're asking whose wage is the lowest. Now we know Queenie's wage, we know Ray's wage, but we don't know Patsy's wage yet. So we have to use the equation that we used the first part that we found. We're going to use that one to find Patsy's wage. So 399 times 0.95 is 379.05. So that means since 399 is bigger than 380, which is bigger than 379.05, therefore we can say that Patsy's wage is the lowest, even though it's like not even $1 lower than Ray. That's it. Okay, and number 5, remember, correct it to the nearest G, so we can find the maximum absolute error is half of 1 gram, which is 0.5 gram. And then they're asking for the least possible weight. That would be the 200, taking the lower limit, so minus, that would be 199.5 gram. That would be the lower limit. So B, they're asking us if 96 of those such packets can actually be measured at 19 kg, corrected to the nearest 0.1 kg. So we're going to go ahead to do the weight of the 96 packs, which will be the 96 times 199.5 gram. So 199.5 times 30 times 96, that's 19152 grams. But in order to convert it into kg, we divide it by 1,000, because 1 kg, the kilo would mean 1,000. So taking away 3 decimal places, we get 19.15 kg. Okay, and if we correct it to the nearest 0.1 kg, we need to write it down as 19.2 kg. Okay, so since 19.2 kg isn't equal to 19.0 kg, therefore it is not possible. Okay, here we're explaining it because we're using the lower limit already, the 199.5 gram, and if we have 96 packets of such weighted salt, it will be 19.15 kg. If we are correcting it to the nearest 0.1 kg, so that is, if it's corrected to the nearest 0.1 kg, we will write as 19.2, and 19.2 is what we measured if we correct it to the nearest 0.1 kg. But they're claiming that it's measured to be 19.0, which is wrong, so therefore it's not agreed. Number 6, let's do the same again, times the 6 on both sides, so times 3 and times 2 on both sides. So if we do that, we can get rid of the denominator and then multiply the 2 to the top, and then here you multiply 3 to the top. Okay, and we move the x's together, so we got the 14x, and then 21 minus 48 is negative 27, so x is negative 27 over 14. And then on the other side we got the 25 to move over first, and then we got the 5 as our answer. So we got a negative number, 27 over 14, and a 5. And now we're going to draw the number line on it and the arrows to represent them. Okay, this is a AND condition, so it's in between them. So if we are finding the final answer for part A, we need to rewrite it as, actually x is a value in between negative 27 over 14 and 5, but it's also equal to the side of negative 27 over 14. Okay, this is equal. In part B, they're asking us how many positive integers are there. So positive integers, so there would be a negative 1 here, and then it will be a 0, and then there will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And why is it negative negative 1? Because it's negative 27 over 14 is actually negative 1.9. Okay, so it was nearly 2, so it ain't 2 yet, so the one that is going to be bigger is negative 1, and then go bigger and bigger. But we're talking about positive integers only, so which is the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4. So 5 is not included because that's not equal, so therefore we have 4 integers in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. Number 7a, we are asked to find the angle QOR. So big minus small on the QOR. Okay, so let's look at Q. Where's Q? Q is the second one, so 165, and R is the last one, which is 255. So big minus small. So 255 minus 165, sorry, is 90 degree. So that's it. And in 7b, apart from that, you should be able to realize that the angle made by P and R, so the 255 minus 75 is 180. So actually that is a straight line. So we have a straight line which is going from O to P and then O to R. And from O to P it's 8 units, and then from O to R is 12 units. So, and then we have the height. On this case we have the 15. So it's actually a triangle. So base, which is 20, so area, base times height, 15 divided by 2, so it's 150 square units. Okay, so that's a interpretation, but if I'm going to draw it really accurately, then if you look at the question, that's 8 and 75. So if I have a axis to help me to plot these, I'll use different colors. So the 75 degrees is about here, so that is the point P, and then 165 is about here. Okay, and then that's 15, it's a little bit longer, and then 12, it's straight down here. So that's 12, that's 8, and that's 15. And you can see in a triangle we need a base and a height. So the blue line will be my base and the green line will be my height. So that's why we use the sum of 12 and 8 together, 20, and then times it by the height, 15. Base times height divided by 2 is the area of a triangle. So therefore this answer is 150. For number 8, we are having a fx equation given to us, and then they told us that when it's divided by x plus 2, the remainder will be 20. So on this point we can write down f negative 2, the remainder is 20. And it's also given to us that the fx is divisible by x plus 3, and that we can write down. Divisible means there's no remainder, so the remainder will be written as 0, because f something always gives you the remainder. So if it's divisible means the word 0. Okay, and then with this piece of information you will make 2 equations, which is for C and D, and then either it will solve by itself or you can just use your program number 1 on your calculator. And let's go ahead and do that. So for the f negative 2, so the f negative 2, we have a negative 2 minus 2 c negative 2 square plus d is 20, and on this side we have negative 3 minus 2 c negative 3 square plus d equal to 0. Then we can do the calculation. We can actually divide this part over to the other side first. So it's negative 2 minus 2 is a negative 4, and if I divide the negative 4 over to the side of 20, so it's 20 divided by negative 4, we get negative 5. And then negative 2 square is 4, so it's 4c plus d is negative 5. And likewise we can just divide this thing over to the other side of 0, and 0 divided by anything is still 0, so we still have 9c plus d is 0. And then using a simultaneous equation or using your elimination method or substitution method, you can get what c and d is. So if I use program 1, then I'll put in 4, 1, negative 5, and then 9, 1, and then 0. So you got c is 1 and d is negative 9. So that's the 2 things we are given. And in part B, they're asking us to solve fx equal to 0. Now at the moment fx is written in 2 brackets, so which is what we needed. So we don't even need to expand this questions. We just need to write down the fx now properly with the c's and d's as numbers. So since C is a 1 and then D is a negative 9, so we get that. And if that is equal to 0, then x minus 2 is 0, the first bracket is 0, or the second bracket is 0. Okay, so in this case the x is a 2, and then you can see that actually in here you got x squared is 9, and then remember when you remove a square you need to plus or minus square root, so you have a positive and a negative 9, sorry, positive and negative 3, and since they are all integers, then yes, the claim is agreed. And number 9, we have a partial variation question. So in that, C is partly constant and partly varies as the square of x. So we can now substitute the x and c's from the two sets of data to find k1 and k2 for us. Then we can put in the calculator again, program 1. We got 129 square, we got 2693, and then 1 again, 43 square, and then 5717. And this tells us that k1 is 170 and k2 is just a 3. And now we need to find the answer for part A first, with the x as 2 meters, but watch out, there's a trap here. The x value should be in terms of cm, so you need to convert the meter into cm, and 1 meter has got 100 cm in it, so the x you need to use is 200. So c is equal to 170 plus 3 times 200 square. So it's 200 square, that needs to be multiplied by 3 before it's added to 170. So the answer would be then this much. Okay, and in part B they are asking us whether it's possible that the cost of manufacturing a cubicle block equals to 100. And this is pretty simple, because if in part A our equation it's in this format, x, it's a object, so it has a length to it. So because in the equation you can see it's partially constant, so that is a fixed cost. 170 is a fixed cost. No matter how big or how small you make the cube, that's there. So that's the least amount you can charge someone, and therefore this is pretty straightforward. It's impossible. For part B, it's impossible to cost $100 as the constant is already over 100. So that's basically it.